Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mildly Gothic. If you're new here, what I like to do is a variety of artsy things, and today is technically the second time ever I'm doing this particular craft, which is bleach paint. And if you can't tell based on the title, didn't exactly go according to plan, but we'll get there. Basically, let's start with the motivation for why I'm doing this project. One of my absolute favorite bands is a Canadian band called Marianas Trench. If you've never heard of them, my friend came up with the perfect description, and they are rock for theater kids. I don't know how to explain it, but this year they came out with their latest album, Haven, and it's fantastic. If you listen to the whole thing from, if we go what would look good to the viewers, beginning to end, then it is this hero's journey. I think it's a fantastic album. It's really well put together. I really, really love this band. And so my friend and I actually got to go see them in concert in October, and it was absolutely fantastic. I'll insert clips or something if I remember, or at least pictures, but it was absolutely breathtaking. And it is the second time I've seen them in concert. I got to see them also back when I was in high school, which was, I think I did the math, like 8 years ago was the last time I saw them in concert. Wild. But I absolutely love them so much. They are near and dear to my heart. And unfortunately, we just didn't get to stop by the merch table. It was a really small venue and it got packed really, really quickly. And we didn't want to lose our spot because we got really nice spots in the center of the main floor. So we didn't want to go before the show. And then there were two openers. So the show was really late by the time it ended, and we had a decent drive back, I think like an hour drive back to her house, which is where we were staying. So we didn't get to go after either, and that bummed me out a little bit because I really wanted some merch from my favorite band. So I went online on their Spotify store, and they actually have a few pieces of clothing. And one of them is this. It is a plain blue t-shirt, and it just says Marianas Trench and Haven with a little lightning bolt, because this tour was the Force of Nature tour, so everything's very nature themed. And the logo is really cool, and I will put that here. Album art logo, kind of whatever you want to call it. To me, that's the Force of Nature tour, Haven, all of that is used. They use this logo for it. I thought that was really cool, and I also naively thought there might be more to this shirt because I couldn't see the back of it. Well, I was mistaken. This shirt showed up, and it's just a plain blue long sleeve. Now, don't get me wrong. I now have another piece of Marianas Trench merch, because I did buy a piece back at that concert 8 years ago. But I wanted something else. And so I thought that logo looked really, really cool and like something that I could probably do myself with either fabric paint, dye, and then I came to the brilliant idea of bleach. So you'll hear me say a few times throughout the video that I may not do the band shirt. Sneak peek, I did the band shirt. I'll have a full reveal of what it looks like at the end, because there was a practice shirt in the middle that did not go so well, because patience is a virtue, but not one of mine. So we had some lessons and stuff that happened in this one. But this was really fun. I hope it's a little informative. This is a rambly intro, but this is just a silly little project of something that means a lot to me, and now I have a really cool customized piece of merch. So go out there, customize your clothing, do with it what you wish, because it's yours and you can do whatever you want with it. And why not make it cooler if you can? Anyways, that's enough for my long-winded rambly intro. If you like long-winded rambly nonsense, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, tell YouTube you want to return to my corner of the internet. I'd love to have you. But with all of that said, let's get to the chaos. Okay, so I'm going to explain my materials to the best of my ability. My camera does not want to stay super steady, so apologies for that. But so what I've got over here are my 5 glasses that I am going to be having my bleach solutions in. One is going to be all water, one is going to be all bleach, and those 3 in the middle are going to be 25, 50, and 75%. I've got a variety of paint brushes there. I've got that. So that is Taylor's chalk. That is a marking pencil. We'll see which one works best on either one. I've kind of tested it already, and the Taylor's chalk is working better. I have a practice shirt, and I have my real shirt, because this is a legit band t-shirt. I don't know that they're selling more of those, and I don't want to screw it up, so we're going to do a test run first. Notice we also have dye, and that's because I'm going to bleach the design first, and then I'm going to try to apply dye to it to get some really cool effects going. I got a thing of water, I got gloves, I have protective material to go in between the layers of the shirt. I have a spray bottle of hydrogen peroxide to stop the bleach, and I have the bleach itself over there in the corner. This is my material setup. This is where I will also give my PSA if I didn't give one already in the intro, and even if I did. Bleach is a corrosive chemical. Bleach is very hazardous. Please take all precautions you can. That is why I have gloves. Just know, wear clothing that you may get bleach on, because even if you are super, super careful, you may end up with bleach on your clothing, which of course you should immediately remove. Hydrogen peroxide, get it in the wash. Protect your hands, protect your face, protect your eyes, do it in a well-ventilated area. It is technically a very dangerous chemical. Not technically, it is. Please be careful, use all of the protection. Your safety is not worth more than an art project. Your safety comes first. So I'm going to get this situation set up to do this shirt, and I'm gonna do it on the back, and have my design sketched out, and then we'll get back to actually painting it. Okay, so I've got my chalk outline done, and the bag I have underneath it is not flat because I don't have any spare cardboard right now. So approaching this is going to be a little challenging because there's a lot of colors, and obviously I'm going to do dye on top, but I still need to make sure, I think, that I visually keep some differences in the hues. A lot of the easy areas are going to be the light blue. Those are going to be basically, I'm planning to do pure bleach, and that's going to be the raindrops. There's this first layer of clouds right there, and then those clouds there. Those are going to be the lightest bleach. These are going to be a mid-tone bleach. Those are going to be the least bleach. I'm thinking I might do the lightning bolts also very heavily bleached, because I'm going to put yellow on top of that, and I want them to be very bold and vibrant. The rest of the umbrella is where I'm not too sure how I want it to go. I know the bleach is probably going to, I think if I remember how it happened with my other jacket, it spread a little bit, and obviously this is cotton, this isn't denim, so I'm expecting this to be a lot more porous and take the bleach a lot better, for better or worse. So that's why we're doing this as a test, and I keep just checking to make sure this is the test shirt, because if I accidentally did this on the other one, I would cry. But you can see we kind of messed around a little bit trying to get the outline right. So I have to mix up my bleach solution. And something else to note, sometimes you want to work on these designs in pieces, because depending on how long it takes, the bleach is going to eat too much away at the fabric and you might end up damaging the fabric. So you want to be really careful and make sure you kind of plan it out in sections and think about that when you're doing it. So yeah, I think I'm going to not start with the strong bleach, because if it takes me a while to get through everything else, I'd rather it not sit and get too bad. So I might start with the umbrella, and my thought is really, really light bleach. So I might make my 25% solution even less than 25% and do that for this. And see how it goes, because I'm gonna dye this piece. So if I do this, the umbrella bit with the 25, and I see how that goes, then I can figure out how I want to do the clouds. So I might actually start with the umbrella. And I will say, the actual design, I've probably put a picture of it at some point, has some black undertones. I have black fabric paint, and that's my plan to do that. We'll see how that goes, but I wanted to do as much of it with dye and not paint as possible, so the shirt doesn't end up super scrunchy. So I am sitting on the floor. I'm gonna mix up some bleach, so I'm about to put some gloves on, and we will keep those on for the remainder of this, and try to convince myself to get started. So this is a super sped up time lapse of me painting the first coat of bleach on the shirt. The actual video is about 25 minutes long. One of the things to note is the longer the bleach sits on the fabric, the more it will pull color from it, no matter the concentration. So if you have a very light concentration that sits for longer than a full concentration, like pure bleach, it will probably still pull a lot lighter than you think it will. So not only do you need to be cognizant of the concentration of bleach you're using, but also the order in which you paint things on your canvas. So that's not something I was super aware of in this piece, and I think I'll talk about that a little bit more. I should have started with my main pure bleach elements and not the umbrella, which I arguably wanted to be the darkest and least bright item on this design. The reason I did it in this order to begin with was I wanted to not end up putting my arm down on top of the shirt that was already covered in bleach. So the lightning bolts and the teardrops, I didn't want to stick my arm down on the shirt at any point and end up touching the surface that was covered in my medium. So I don't really have too much on the technique and stuff here. You can see it. I make a huge mistake, and there are definitely some flying drops of bleach. Some went in some okay places, and others, there's a teardrop that ended up way bigger than I intended it to. Again, as I said in the beginning, patience is a virtue, but not one of mine all the time. So this was definitely a tough pill to swallow, but at the same time, bleach paint is about trusting the process because it always changes as you're going. So you really have to kind of trust the process and feel confident in what you're doing to know that it will get to the end state that you want. Patience and trust are essential to having a bleach paint project come out correctly. So this is where we are. The bleach is on, and you can very clearly see, especially on camera, which is really interesting, the seepage of saturation, and I think that's all from water, but you can also see very clearly up here the bleach is not staying within the line. That's fine. Again, I kind of mentioned that I expected that, and that's why we're doing a test, and I may never do the real one. If this doesn't look the way I want, then I'm not going to do it. And I'm also actually thinking I might not dye it, because I guess I forgot how bleach works, and the fact, well, I didn't forget how bleach works. It's more of different fabrics color with bleach differently, and so my denim jacket went to a very, honestly, bone kind of colored, very much lighter colored, so I was kind of expecting that with this, which is clearly not what's happening, and these are 100% bleach, and so are those, but those aren't quite taking the same. I do think it's probably because they were already pretty saturated from being so near the umbrella, but I'm gonna let this sit for not too much longer, and then spritz it with hydrogen peroxide and stick it in the wash, and we'll see what we get. So it's several hours later. This has gone through the washer and dryer, and as you can see, one, the sun is not helping me right now, and two, some parts of the design are super faint. So I think I'm going to go over this with bleach again. I'm surprised some of the lightning bolts kept a lot of their shape. Clearly not all of the teardrops did. I'm still a little mad about that one, but I'm thinking of making a few of the other ones big so that doesn't look like such an outlier. The clouds, definitely, these need to be brighter. And then, you know, the clouds behind this just kind of got all sorts of screwed up. So I don't think I'm going to record this part. I'm basically planning on doing what I did the first time again, so hopefully this, because it's there, it's just really faint, so that needs to be gone over again. So I'm probably going to up the intensity of some of the colors or choices that I used. But yeah, I'm going to try to do basically a second coat, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to sit with it sideways here, and I want to talk about a few things while this is kind of finishing, just sitting for the last bit. I don't think I'm ever going to do the band shirt, and there's a couple reasons why. I may in the future. One is I'm not experienced enough. I think I'd need so many more of these practice shirts to actually get something that I think looks good. And I think that leads me into my second thing of, I think I shot myself in the foot from the start by choosing this design. It's a very precise line work, very specific, versus why I think my other one, that's denim jacket that I did, is so successful, is because it's okay that it's patchy and is not super cohesive, and that kind of painterly texture is okay and warranted, versus some things like this, I'm just having a really hard time. I think the teardrops look fine. I think the top part of the umbrella looks fine. I have no idea what is happening there, and I don't like it. And I'm not really sure how to fix it. So I have this. I may still wear this. I think this is still really fun. I really like it. I still really like this logo. I kind of still want a piece of merch with this on it. As I probably explained, my friend and I went to go see the band that this is for in concert recently, Marianas Trench, and we just didn't get a chance to go to the merch table. It was so swamped, and we had it was a super late night because there were 2 openers, and we didn't get to go to the merch table beforehand or after. And when I looked online, all of their stuff to buy online was pretty much sold out in my size. So I wanted to make something for myself, and I have something. It's not perfect, and I don't think it will be. I think I got the lightning bolts to look a lot better, but I think some of these shades are too close to just do with bleach, and I'd need to rethink about the design a little bit more, because I think if I hadn't done all of it and I'd left some of them as negative space, that it might have been a little bit more successful. But obviously I can only add more bleach, I can't take it away. So like just kind of highlighting the edges of the clouds over here instead of coloring the whole thing in, I think that was really successful. I think if I had figured out how to do smoother gradient blends, then that might not look nearly as messy. Something else I was doing that I was totally screwing myself over with is I was overloading my brush with my medium, so my mixture. And that's what really causes it to spread. If you're super light and careful with it, I know I don't have gloves on right now, so like I don't recommend, but you want to take basically, so I just dipped my brush in my mixture, and you want to just really lightly kind of put it where it needs to go. It should really basically just sit where you put it, and if it really seeps in, you probably have too much on your brush. And that's been a really hard lesson to learn because I'm not good at that. I'm a little impatient, I'm a little messy, and that's just kind of how a lot of my crafts go. So, wow, it reads even worse on camera than it looks in person. So, I'm gonna go ahead and spritz this again with my hydrogen peroxide and get it in the wash for a final time, and I'll show you the final product. But I'll think about it. But as it stands, I'm not going to touch the band t-shirt because I do have it, and even though it just has their little logo in the front, it's better than nothing, and it's certainly a hell of a lot better than this. So maybe I'll come up with a different design and go buy another test t-shirt for it. But until then, this video is lessons learned and what not to do, but hopefully maybe informative so you could attempt to make something like this for yourself. So, yep, I'm gonna get this thing spritzed and cleaned up, and then I guess show you the final product. While I'm in the midst of spritzing this with hydrogen peroxide, I realized there's something else I wanted to say. I don't know that I'm using the right bleach. And I, to be honest, did not even go reference my old video to make sure I was using the same one. I just thought I remembered what I used. And so I might not be using the right bleach. I am using a liquid bleach. I know I've seen people use, I think, like a more gel bleach. So there could totally be something to that. I'll look into it. I don't know that this will be the last part of the video. I think there will be at least a little bit more of me updating as far as what I do from here. But until then, this thing needs to get washed. So I've decided we're doing it. I have my sketch drawn out, and I have something else here, and this is the way I'm kind of gonna approach it. This was originally 2 different thoughts, but in actuality, I think I need to do this in 2 phases. And the first one is just kind of lightly shade the entire top and bottom section of the umbrella and do all of the super intense bleach. So everything that is going to be stark, bright bleach, which is all of my lightning bolts in the top clouds, and kind of just lightly define all of the edges of my clouds. And then wash it and come back and then do the lighter shading and do all of that those layers and try to get that to look better. So we're going to do round 1, and basically I'm going to only paint everything that is pure bleach and fix my squiggles, because looking at them from above, those umbrella squiggles, I realize there's multiple lines. It's hard to erase Taylor's chalk, but I'm going to clean up those lines a little bit, and then do all of the pure bleach and the base wash on all of my clouds and the umbrella. So I'll show you, hopefully, what it looks like when that's done. My lighting is terrible because I'm doing this outside by outside ambient light, But I am honestly cautiously optimistic about this. I know the lightning bolts are splotchy. I might try to fill them out a little bit. Another kryptonite of this design is just how large the spaces are to fill. And so that's just going to be a challenge kind of with anything like this. So all of the teardrops are done, some better or worse. I'm going to let this sit for a second. I think I am going to do a first layer of that middle wave because I actually think the separation between them looks really good right now. And then I'm going to let this sit for a little bit longer and then throw her in the wash so it'll be ready for part 2. So here we are after the wash. As you can see, obviously the lightning bolts are still a little patchy. Most of the teardrops look a whole heck of a lot better. So I think I am going to, mostly focus on the umbrella, get that to be a lot bolder. And then probably clean up, I'm sorry, it keeps not focusing when I'm pointing, clean up some of those larger full bleach areas and make them a little bit more defined, but I am really happy with this so far. And here is the final product. As you can see, I did a much better job of getting the shadows underneath every line of the umbrella and even a good separation from the umbrella and the clouds on top of it. The clouds underneath also have that really nice, just fluffy shape and gradation between them. I am so unbelievably happy with how this turned out. And there's a few things that I think made this end up so much different than the first one. One of the things is I actually only used 2 different concentrations of bleach. I had 50% bleach and 100% bleach. I used 100% obviously on the clouds, raindrops, and lightning bolts, but I used the 50% bleach everywhere else and was so much lighter. I discussed earlier how you don't want to overload your brush, and that is so key to making sure that it stays exactly where you want it. I will say, I don't think this design would have come out as great if I didn't do the practice shirt. Is this second shirt perfect? Definitely not. But I'm so incredibly happy with it. The lines are crisp, it is incredibly readable, and I know exactly what it is, and I love it so much. So yeah, there you go, are all of my lessons learned on how I made this bleach paint shirt for myself, and hopefully this can help set you up for doing your own stuff maybe in the future. There is nothing more satisfying or rewarding than customizing your wardrobe to be exactly what you want. So if you've never done it before, I highly recommend doing something to make a piece of clothing just that extra bit yours so you love it and feel even more confident every time you wear it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I seriously hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the product in the comments down below. Do you know of the band Marianas Trench? Are you going to check them out now? They don't need my little shout out, but I'm going to do it anyways because I seriously love them so much. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.